What is up, guys? My name is Paul and welcome back to SwiftySportSA. I know it's been a long time and we've got some new ideas going forward with this channel. Welcome to the very first video of the Sim Diaries. So this first video is an introduction into getting into sim racing on a budget, especially. If you guys know me, I like to do things on a budget but be able to be competitive. So you're thinking of getting into sim racing but don't know where to begin, especially based on the costs. This is a very expensive exercise and a costly hobby to get into, but that shouldn't deter you, as there are ways of getting into this hobby on a cheaper way and to still enjoy it, be competitive, and most importantly, have fun. So I'm going to take you down a short journey of how I've done it, what to look out for, software, wheels, pedals, console versus PC, etc. And as this section of the channel develops, I'm going to take you down some videos of what I've done, my setup, where I'd like to go, and of course we're going to cover some racing footage. The big question, PC or console? From my side, I'd have to say PC, and the reason I say this is because I had a pretty good PC to begin with, being a gamer of other games. Now, console is a great way to go, being a complete package, and you know that your game will run fluid on there, or so it should. The problem is with console is that you run out of options. You will be forced to use a game as it is with no flexibilities. You cannot run any of these extras like software called SimHub, which allows for vibration motors and fans and rumble, etc, etc. You can't do any of that really with a console. So I went the PC route. Now, what does my PC look like? So to be honest, with the current games that I am operating on, which is Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is the GT racing focused game, I'm able to run these games easy. I've got a pretty good processor in there. I'm running a AMD, the 5600 in there. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, but unfortunately I'm still running an old GTX 1080 graphics card, but she's still a beast and can still push through on the current gen games. The newer gen games, we might struggle a little bit. Again, this all depends on screen setups, single, triple. We'll dive into all of that. So where do we begin? What wheels should we be looking at? My friend has this, he has that. I saw this on YouTube. I cannot afford it. Right, so at the very bottom of the list, we get gear-driven steering wheels, which is exactly what I have to my side here. This is a Logitech G29 steering wheel. I'm sure you've seen many pictures of these, and this is currently what I am actually running. And I know the haters in the comments are going to say, oh, that's not a real sim racer, this, that, etc. Anybody in the game knows that this is the bare minimum you should get into for sim racing. The reason is it's got pretty decent force feedback. It comes with a pedal set like this with 3 pedals on it, a clutch, brake, accelerator, and it's a simple plug and play setup. This, the G29 specifically, hence the PlayStation logo, this will operate on PS3, PS4, PS5, and even PC. This guy came in iterations for Xbox. I think I believe it was called the G920, and since then they've made the G923, which is an updated version of this. They look almost identical, color schemes changed. It's running Logitech special software in there called True Force. It's a little bit smoother, not gonna lie. A friend of mine has got it. It feels a lot smoother than mine. The pedals are a slight upgrade from mine. They look identical, the difference being that the brake has got a much better feel to it, a smoother feel to it. Whereas in this guy, unfortunately, these pedals are all running potentiometers in them. So these guys are all on position sensors, not pressure like in a real vehicle. In your real car, when you push down, it's based on pressure, not position. So in here, the potentiometer is just looking for where the pedal position is. The problem where that comes in with the brake is that generally the standard setup of these pedals, the brake pedal, it's very soft to begin with, then boom, hits a bit of a brick wall in there. There's a piece of rubber. It's designed to make it feel like your pedal is stiffening as you push it. It's not bad, it's not ideal, but guys, there are guys out there running this exact setup in stock form that are quicker than guys out there with their direct drive wheels. Now, let's move on. So a step above this, is bolt-driven wheels, and a lot of your Thrustmaster products are. They're a mid-tier steering wheel, so definitely a step up from these. Bolt-driven, they're a lot quieter, a lot smoother, and you get better force feedback through them. So that's a step in the right direction. And then following that is direct drive motors. Now these things are incredible. A friend of mine has one. I've had a go recently on it and I was blown away. And how this works is the motor is directly bolted onto the steering wheel. You get different levels of force feedback, but even in their bare form at 5 Newton meters, 6 Newton meters, those things respond way better than this and have a lot more feedback than something like this. But does that make you a better driver? No, it doesn't. We've seen a trend now. More brands are coming out with direct drive motors. They are getting better and they are getting more accessible to people. Their pricing is dropping, but still, even as me, who's is on a sim every single night of his life, I cannot justify paying that right now, but I am working up to it because I can see the value, and I do appreciate what those wheels do. They basically put you into what feels like a real car, along with the pedals that match. The problem is with direct drive setups, you're forced to buy the motor separately to the steering wheels, to the pedals, or in a bundle, but you're looking at thousands and thousands of rands or even thousands and thousands of dollars. So I went the G29 route. I haven't looked back. Obviously, I know I will upgrade someday, but it has put me into sim racing. That's all that counts, and I have fun with this every single night of my life. So moving on to games. What simulations are we going to play? Look, there are plenty out there, too many to list, but in general, the most common and top used simulations at the moment are your Assetto Corsa or Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is the GT racing. Of course, iRacing, there's Automobilista, there's Race Room, it's endless. I went with Assetto Corsa. The fact that it is so moddable, you could load any track you can think of, any car, you could even get your own car there. Different styles, there's drifting, there's GT racing, there's regular car racing, there's drag racing, there's city maps where you could be flying through traffic. That's the beauty about a game like that. And as we know, Assetto Corsa Evo has just released. It's in its early access phase. I haven't gotten it yet. I have my reservations only because I've seen what the early access is like. I cannot wait for it, as I believe it's probably going to be the best simulation / free roam game. It's everything we've wanted for so long. But I'm gonna wait because the early access looks like it's having some problems, which is to be expected. So I'm gonna wait for it to be a fully released game, and that'll probably become the main focus game of this channel. So I also started with a G29 on a single screen at home at a desk. Single screen setup with a G29 and pedals, it works. Then I got the shifter. I'd like to also say, guys, that I got all of this second hand. Don't be afraid to look at the second hand market in buying these. I paid probably less than half of what these go for brand new, or the latest setup goes for brand new. So my current setup is running triple monitors. They are smaller monitors. They are 23-inch monitors, but they are 1080p monitors running at 120 Hertz. I cannot get 120 FPS though. Something to note, when you jump from a single monitor setup to a triple monitor setup on your graphics card, your computer will take strain. And the biggest question is, why would you want to go into a triple screen setup? Well, it's to give you better vision and immersion. On a single screen setup, you're forced to be locked into here, and you cannot see what's happening on your left or right, in your mirrors, to your sides. It can cause problems. You can cause accidents in competitive racing. You could avoid a lot more situations by being in a triple screen setup, as these screens almost come to my peripheral. The level of immersion is insane, the sense of speed, but most importantly, I can see what's happening around me. I know exactly where all these guys are to my left and to my right. But as we said before, just to remember, triple screen setup will definitely put more strain on your computer and you will get frame loss. So just note that when doing this, you might have to dumb down your graphics settings, even though your computer's capable. We're talking triple screen setup here. It's intense. Well, I got lucky. A family friend had this as a rig, and I've now taken it off their hands. So you got to get clever and crafty. In your situation, you might need to buy the classic skeleton frames that you see. You can also look at secondhand. There are plenty rigs out there, but there are plenty affordable brand new rigs out there. If you want to move away from a desk setup, your next jump is probably some kind of play seat. If you don't want to get a static rig like mine. I'm still running my G29 setup. I've customized the pedals. I will be going into depth on what I have done. It's the same pedals. I've simply done a mod where I've inverted them onto a board. Then if you look at my rig, you wouldn't notice this unless you're with me, but I've got vibration running underneath. This rig came with surround sound at the bottom of it. I'll discuss all of that in the future, how I've used now the Alifi, the sub that's under my seat, and how I've created vibration. Handbrake on its way. We'll be showing you the unboxing of that and how I'm getting into drifting. There's lots to discuss, lots to touch on, and just to prove a point of how you can sim race on a budget and be competitive. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know. We're going to be doing a lot more simulation videos going forward. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. Cool guys, check you on the next one.